Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome into episode 123 of the Second and One podcast. Joining you today is myself, Shiz. We also have Brother Taheem Green and Mr. Mo Snell. Fellas, it's draft week. How y'all feeling?
Scared.
I feel I feel excellent.
Yeah, Taheem, I understand why you're scared. Snell, I understand why you feel excellent coming off a Super Bowl victory. Me, Jerry
Listen,
going to do Jerry going to do something wild. So I'm just I'm just looking for entertainment because if I go in there with my hopes up, even though we did get CD Lamb last year, Jerry's liable to do something like I remember the one year he wanted Johnny Manziel. Thankfully that didn't happen. So anything is alive in the draft when it comes to the Joneses. So,
yeah.
but all right. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is mostly about sports, hip hop, politics, and everything in between. We give it to you straight, raw, no chaser. And if we offend you, we apologize slightly. How we usually kick things off is our taking a shot segment where we give a bold prediction about one of the topics I just named. But since we have a full plate of topics this week, mostly due to the NFL draft, we're going to bypass that and get right into the draft. Um, if you're a longtime listener, I'm a Cowboy fan. Snell is a Tampa Bay Bucks fan, reigning Super Bowl champions. And Taheem is a San Francisco 49er fan. And picking at three
I sound like the way you said that.
is the San Francisco 49ers. They made a trade with the Dolphins to move up. And, it's been a lot of speculation about who they're going to pick. Rumor has it is that they're down to two options. But I don't need to talk anymore. Taheem, the insider for the 49ers, talk to us. What's going on?
Man, I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't know what these 49ers are going to do. In the media you hear them saying Mac Jones. In the media you hear him saying Trey Lance. In the media you hear him saying Justin Fields. I think these guys are liable to go out and get Mac Jones. I really think that Mac Jones pick is already in. Why would you go get Mac Jones? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Yes, he might be accurate, but he's not mobile. The defensive ends in the NFL are just getting faster and faster and faster every year. Yeah, we have a pretty good O line that can protect him. I think the word on the street is Mac Jones really fits what Kyle Shanahan wants to do offensive wise. He doesn't want a quarterback to ad lib. He wants a quarterback to really go through those progressions and trust the wide receivers and throw that ball. But this is the NFL. These defensive lines are super creative. These defensive coordinators, if they have to, they'll send everybody after you. You got to have a mobile quarterback to get out of the pocket. Mac Jones will literally be a stand-in statue back there. And then we talk about Trey Lance. Trey Lance played one game last year. He was I don't even think that's D3. What is that, like D45 he played in?
Listen, man.
Same school as
Same
Big
school as
Carson.
Wentz.
Yeah, look what happened to Carson Wentz.
Nah, that's we could get into Carson like later on as the season gets closer, but as we can see, Philadelphia, there is a lot of toxic nonsense going on there
Yeah, this is
from
a
the
toxic environment.
general
Yes.
manager to the
Yeah.
president to the players. Carson might return to not I won't say MVP form, but to like top 10 quarterback form
Yeah, I
next
think I
year.
think he'll I think he'll do good. With the Colts. Colts got a lot of weapons around him. He'll be with Frank Wright, who he was with his rookie year. I think he'll be fine. But to get back to these 49ers, yeah, Trey Lance's name has been thrown in the mix. Justin Fields, who I originally wanted, it came out that he's telling teams that he's been managing epilepsy, which is now scaring me because this guy might get a real good NFL hit on him and never be the same again. So you don't want to take that chance. And then outside of that, quarterback wise, who you got? You know who's going to be 1 and 2. So we're at 3, just left there. With nobody. I think the original trade to come up so far was bad in the first place. You give up first round of next year, and the year after that, and then you still got Jimmy G on the books. Like, what are you going to do with Jimmy G? So as this is just going to be a bad fucking Thursday for me.
Yeah, I think the Mac Jones. speculation is puzzling to me. I mean, I know that he played at Alabama.
Like
Coach under Nick Saban, and he has a good head on his shoulders. But
me and Charles went through the statistics like a couple weeks ago. We basically just asked ourselves who was the last good quarterback out of Alabama that came to the NFL, and I think the answer was Joe Namath.
yeah, because
Mhm.
and there hasn't been any good ones really.
That's what I'm saying. For the casual average fan, I think they misconstrue it. Like, yes, Alabama wins national championships, but it's not off of the quarterback play. The quarterback just doesn't turn the ball over, right? And they just have a lot of good weapons around them and a really good defense. You know what I mean? I can go and be quarterback at Alabama and win 2 national titles, but I can't play in NFL.
Yeah. So one thing that I was listening to a show maybe like 2 weeks ago, and they were comparing Mac Jones to Tua. So Tua was, highly touted. Like people thought he was going to be really good, and the book is still out. With Mac Jones, they compared the two. So they were saying that somewhere around 70% of the yardage that Tua had in college was yards after catch. So like the receiver catch the ball and they just take off for 50-yard touchdown. But with Mac Jones, 65% of his yards actually came through the air. So that lets me know that Mac Jones can actually throw the football a little bit better than Tua. Just based off the numbers, we'll see how it translates into the NFL. But with Tua being such a highly touted prospect, and then Mac Jones just being looked upon as like some scrub, I think the numbers might be a little bit. If you look at the numbers really thoroughly, it might be a little bit different. And also with Mac Jones, they ran his 40. He's actually faster than Patrick Mahomes, like 40 wise. I mean, game speed is different, but 40. He's not the statue that everybody's making him out to be. But at the same time, man, I just don't understand what Justin Fields could have done like since the college football playoff to make his stock drop this far. I
I
don't
think
think.
it's the epilepsy because
Nah,
I think
even
he actually improved his stock. Well, if you're asking me, I think he improved his stock because he had that bad game and then he bounced back.
yeah, but even before he announced that he had epilepsy to like these teams, his stock was already falling. And I seen a mock draft today, which was completely insane. Chris Sims, he works for I think NBC, and he's by far like the worst NFL analyst in sports. He has
He's
him.
probably the worst NFL quarterback in
He,
sports
he
too.
has him going 32nd to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Get
and
the
it's
Man, that's a great,
and
the
his
fuck
latest
out of
and his
here.
latest mock.
that's a great draft. That was
Yo,
that's a great draft. I
So
like it.
yeah, yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, so how do we go from uh,
3 to
Trevor
32.
Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields being the clear cut number 1 and 2 quarterback all season long for the college year to now we have Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, um, Trey Lance. All of these guys are just ranked better than him. I don't understand that. And
Because I think it's just
um,
because of the disparity in quarterbacks.
yeah, I don't know. But Snell, get in there. What are your thoughts on the 49ers upcoming pick?
Oh man. So the 49ers, to me, I think the only pick that makes sense is Trey Lance. Like it has to be him. I think you still have Jimmy G. Um, and you need a project to work on. I don't think of those 3 quarterbacks of Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields, Mac Jones is the oldest. He'll be the oldest of the 3. So that I think that kind of takes him out. And then obviously Trey Lance is the younger guy. So I think if the plan is to have Jimmy G on the roster, it's much easier to have Jimmy G and then have Trey Lance on the roster somewhere as a backup, as opposed to if you have Jimmy G and he's playing bad, and you have a Mac Jones or Justin Fields on your roster, your fan base will kind of be like, well, get them in the game. As opposed to if you have a Trey Lance who only played 1 football game last year, people kind of gonna be like, nah, he needs more practice. Like he didn't really play last year. So it's a little bit easier to bring Trey Lance along, keeping him on the bench as opposed to the other options. But it's the 49ers, and they've already moved up. So I don't know
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck they're gonna do.
what they're gonna do. So My pick is Trey Lance, just because I think
More
of
upside.
all the scenarios, like because the scenario that the 49ers put us in is that we have two quarterbacks in mind that we will take, to replace Jimmy G. So unless they get a gift from the Jets and the Jets don't take Zach Wilson, then they can get him. And if not, you can get Trey Lance. So I think that's the position that they put themselves in. Because those are, to me, those are the only two things that make any sense. I think Mac Jones, while his stats are whatever it is, 65% through the air, all that's great. I think he stinks. I think if and like Tahim said, I think another thing that doesn't help is the quarterbacks that come out before you. So the big thing about, if you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback that came before him is really Deshaun Watson. Like that's the caliber, of play that you like. If you're going yards for yards, stat for stats, that's who you're comparing it against. With Mac Jones, like you said, you're comparing it to a Tua, to a AJ McCarron. Like those are the guys you're comparing it to. And then with Justin Fields, the reason why I think his stock dropped so much is because the guy before him is Dwayne Haskins. So you're like, oh, yes, great. He put up all these stats, but look at Dwayne Haskins. And that's who. So I think that didn't help Justin Fields either. Because like you said, you're going to be like, oh, man, look at all these stats. Look at all of this. Look at all these accolades he got. Look at all these yards he threw for. And then somebody's going to say, well, look at Dwayne Haskins and look at same system. So I think that's what kind of started to drop Justin Fields, I'll say.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point with Dwayne Haskins because he did have good numbers in college, and he was projected to do well, and we were all stunned when Daniel Jones was picked before him, but
Yeah.
it looks like that was the better pick overall. But Justin Fields, he just seems like he seems like just like a better overall prospect and player than Dwayne Haskins. The work ethic seems to be there. Dwayne was, he was just more concerned about like his brand. It seemed like, and not really his play.
Yeah.
Justin Fields seems like he's dedicated to football 100%, and he's willing to do whatever it takes. And that kind of brings me to like what I was going to say. Am I taking a shot? I think Justin Fields is going to end up with New England, and everybody's going to regret that because Bill's going to, Bill's pissed off because Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, so he's looking for revenge. They brought back Cam Newton. He's not the answer. So I think he's going to do whatever it takes to move up in the draft, maybe do a trade with Carolina to get Justin Fields, and that will be something that the league will really, really regret in the future, in my opinion, especially that AFC East, because like Justin Fields cannot be the fifth best quarterback in this draft. Like I just don't believe that. So um, I can't wait till Thursday to see like what takes place and I can't wait to like chuckle a little bit if the 49ers do take this Mac Jones. But waiting to see 49ers at 3. That's when the draft really begins. Like we already know what 1 and 2 is going to be. The 49ers at 3 is kind of like when the draft really begins, and I can't wait to see it.
Never count out the Jets. Never count them out.
Bro, if they fuck this up, man.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, but moving on to my team, the Dallas Cowboys, pick number 10. Um, Ever since the very beginning of these mock drafts, they've been mocking Patrick Surtain out of Alabama to the Cowboys at 10. Lately, I've been seeing J.C. Horn from South Carolina, and I'm cool with either of those picks. Our secondary was trash, like beyond trash. So any reinforcements will help, and I would be comfortable with either of those picks. I really don't have a preference. Just cover somebody, please. Um, but of course, it wouldn't be the Cowboys if Jerry wasn't daydreaming. He said something crazy about tight end Kyle Pitts. Now, to get Kyle Pitts, we would have to probably get up to 4, and we would have to mortgage a lot to get up to that high. I just don't see that happening. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a fairly quiet night for the Cowboys, where we just take the player Hopefully, we might have the opportunity to pick the first defensive player on the board, and if it's Patrick Surtain, great. If it's J.C. Horn, great. Even if we traded back, and we picked up another corner or whatever. I'm not sure about Caleb Fairley. Too many injury concerns about that. But I think Newsom would be a good option. Like we can just get somebody on defense. But now, I also do have a fear. Jerry always likes to get fancy, so I can see if like Jalen Waddle is on the board at 10.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Jerry,
Nah,
you know how because here's my reasoning. Michael Gallup contract expires after the end of next season, and to re-sign him, it's going to be like I won't say it's a daunting task, but
no,
it's
that'd
not
be
going to
like
be
mid-level.
it's not going to be pleasant. Like he's going to want like
he'll get some
above.
offers. Yeah.
He's going to want above 10,
Yeah.
and if Jalen Waddle's just sitting there, just waving at Jerry, Jerry can, anything on offense, Jerry just brightens up.
Yeah.
So that is my fear. But hopefully we just do the smart thing, take Patrick
Oh my
Surtain,
God.
take J.C. Horn, trade back or get Newsom, something along those lines. But old Jerry, I'm telling you, if somebody like Jalen Waddle was there,
So
he
so let
might
me
get
ask,
he might get crazy.
so let me ask you this: is as a resident Cowboy fan and president of the fan club, if they do take Waddle, what actions do you suggest be taken against Jerry?
Man, I really wouldn't know what to say. Like, I mean, I would just be like, wow, I-
Wow.
like, like, I really would just be stunned because, like,
If he does that, do you think that's the last straw and he needs to be relieved of his duties?
but that's the problem. He's the only person that can relieve him of his duties. Like, he owns the
That's
team.
yeah,
So
that's true.
when you're the owner and general manager, I know his son Stephen Jones really like calls the shots. But if there is
That's what they say, but I think Jerry is just like,
nah,
yo, you could do all of the corny work, but I'm gonna do everything that's fancy.
yeah, like if it comes down to like, all right, we're going to stick to the script, Jerry. That's what the Stephen Jones would say. We're going to stick to the script. But then a player like Waddle gets there. No, like if Pitts slides to 10, no brainer. They're going to
Nah.
take him. But if like Waddle's there, I'm telling you, like Jerry might be like, you know what? I'm overriding every decision that our training staff has done, that my son has done. The decision is in, the pick is in. Jalen Waddle, pick 10. But like I said, I'm hoping Thursday evening, as I'm sipping on a Michelob Ultra, we take Patrick Surtain and we move on to the second round. But we'll see. Taheem, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys and what they're going to do?
I hope Jerry comes to his senses and trades up to the number 2 spot, giving up a first rounder for the next 18 years, and I hope he takes Trey Lance.
Well, just that. I mean, yeah.
I hate the Cowboys. I hate the fucking Cowboys. I don't hate the Cowboys. I just hate Jerry because he does like stupid shit. He does stupid stuff. And so since we're talking about the Cowboys, who was it? Sean Lee. That's how you say his name.
Yeah, Big Sean retired.
Big Sean retired, and they did this super big collage for him, like he was the savior of Dallas. He was not healthy an entire season, not 1 year of his career. Like
But-
he doesn't get that. Like if it was like for Jason Witten, yes, you give him the keys to the city. If it was Tony Romo, yes, but we're talking about Sean Lee.
Sean Lee, man.
We're talking about me on defense for the Cowboys. That's
Stop
what
it.
we're
Nah,
talking about.
Sean Lee made first team All Pro 1 year. He had a
What,
couple
yo,
good
acting
years.
like he's Luke Kuechly.
For that 1 year, he was Luke Kuechly. Like
No, he
for
wasn't.
that
No,
for
he
that
wasn't.
1 year,
No,
he
he
was
was
all right.
not.
But nah, Sean, our defense could like if you really like studied the Cowboys or watched the Cowboys a lot, like our defense, which is not good to begin with, we could not
Yeah,
function
it's never-
without Sean Lee. People would be out of position. People wouldn't know where to go. People getting ran over. Like it's just awful. But
Yeah, 'cause y'all-
whenever Sean Lee was on the field, like the defense just seemed to play a lot better.
Because
So
y'all got a linebacker now. Y'all got drop dead leg Fred.
Yeah, you
Jalen
got
Smith.
Jalen Smith and
You got the puppy hunter.
yeah,
Hmm.
Van Der Esch, who's actually in an interesting position because he's up for his 5th-year option to be picked up, and they haven't done it yet. They have until May 3rd.
He
So
has some injuries too.
yeah, so that'd be interesting to see. Linebacker is a position of need for defense. So if the Cowboys go Micah Parsons at 10, I wouldn't mind that either.
I don't think he'll
Uh,
be there at 10 though.
nah, I
I
think
think they had him going earlier than that to somebody.
nah, he might.
Didn't they?
It's a coin flip. Like he might be there, he might not be. But if he is
Okay.
there and we take him, I wouldn't be mad at that either. But yeah, Steph, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys draft coming up?
Yeah. So one thing, listen, man. I know as a Cowboys fan, you don't like to say it, but one thing about the Cowboys, man, the Cowboys they always draft well. Outside of really corner, what
Yeah, Morris Claiborne.
with Morris Claiborne, they tend to draft well. So I don't think you should,
I think they draft better in the later rounds. I think that first pick for them is it kind of always is
nah,
tricky for Jerry.
Nah,
nah.
we've
The
had
first pick should
it's good
always be foul.
it's good on offense. Defense is where we mess up at because
So
Okay, so if we go back to last year, yes, y'all got CeeDee Lamb. That was a great pickup. But did y'all really need CeeDee Lamb at that position when the defense was as bad as it was?
it was he. I mean, I don't mind the pick because he was so high on the draft board. Like
Mhm.
I think he was like the 6th best player on their board. So he slipped to them,
yeah,
and you know,
yeah. Listen,
I'll take it.
he regardless of
Of
if
course,
you
of course,
needed him,
but
he still produced at the end of the day, which is good. So the
yeah,
Cowboys
which is his
always
favorite quarterback, Andy Dalton.
yeah. So listen, they draft well, but I could also see Jerry being Jerry, and if that Kyle Pitts gets to 5,
I'm
I
trying to
think
come up.
yeah he's coming on up. Like
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, if he starts getting to like if Kyle Pitts isn't picked at like 5 or 6, you start getting to those picks, Jerry's coming up. Jerry ain't gonna sit there and like let's hope and pray that he slips to 10. Jerry's going like no, let's go get him. Let's get in my yacht and let's go pick him up. Jerry's gonna go move up in the draft and get him. So that's the only thing. Um, but like I said, if you look at the Cowboys draft history, the Cowboys draft well. They definitely like I can give like they definitely draft better than the Bucks. So the Cowboys draft well. So if I'm a Cowboys fan, I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah. So just real quick, the last 2 defensive players that the Cowboys have picked up, Leighton Van Der Esch, the book is still out on him. And then we forgot about this Taco Charlton, who was horrendous for the Cowboys. And then Byron Jones, who's a good player, but we let him go because he wanted too much of free agency. And then in 2012, we picked up Morris Claiborne. So I would say that's 1 for 4, pretty much.
I mean,
And
so yeah. So now I'm looking at like I just pulled it up. So yeah, if you go to 2010, the past 10 years,
it's all offense, though. Like the great players are on offense. The defense is
I'm
where we struggle at.
overall
Yeah.
though, they're picking well though. You know what I mean? Like they're picking Pro Bowl caliber talent. I don't care when you get it. Like if you're
No,
picking if you're picking Pro Bowlers, like that ain't easy.
no, yeah, no. Offensively, we hit just about every year
Yeah.
that we pick on offense, but on defense, like Morris Claiborne and
Oh
Leighton
yeah.
Van Der Esch and Taco Charlton, bum ass Michigan player.
Hey, don't disrespect me.
it just doesn't work. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, moving on. The Bucks, Super Bowl champions, don't really need much. Seems like every player that's looking for a rejuvenation of their career heads to Tampa Bay. Picked up Giovanni Bernard. Didn't need him at all. What do
Gio out the
you
backfield.
what's the plan for the draft?
Listen, man, you get Tom. Well, you let Tom come in, evaluate who he wants, and then that's who you pick. Yeah, what us being at the end of the draft. I mean, I don't care. I don't care what they did in the Super Bowl. Go get me some defensive help. They still need a corner, or a safety. We can always we can never get enough corner or safety help with this team because the regular season they were god awful. So if we can get somebody of talent at a corner or safety, I'm all for it. I'm saying, we may pick up, a receiver, like a slot like receiver. Listen, get time whenever you want.
Yeah.
I don't think AB's gonna come back. So I
But
think
y'all got that other kid, Johnson, right?
yeah.
Y'all got Scotty Miller.
And we got Scotty Miller.
Yes, I
All
think y'all
improved.
fine.
Listen, man, go get me. Like, I want Rondell Moore from Purdue. Get me somebody who could play receiver, could be a punt returner, kick returner, and who I think is a little bit faster than Scotty Miller, and who I'd rather see back there because I feel like Scotty Miller is bound to get hit and die at some point. He just has that look, like, yo,
He has that look.
He has that look of he's fast, but he also like he's out of control.
Brittle.
He's just running. Like you can't be like that. So I would like to get like a Rondell Moore type of a guy, somebody that can kind of be a gadget guy and you can use, in certain situations, and you can develop him. So that's my pick. But we're picking so late. I don't know what everybody else is going to do. I just know don't trade up, and if Tom wants it, go get it. That's all I got.
Fair enough. So before we move on from the draft, what is your biggest surprise that you're expecting in this draft? I'll go first. So of course we know the big five quarterbacks: Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. I think a sixth quarterback is going in this first round, and that's Kellen Mond from Texas A&M.
Ooh,
A lot of people, or a lot of media people have been speculating that he's been rising on the draft boards, and I could see a bad team, or not I won't say a bad team. I could just see a team that doesn't know what they're doing, like the Chicago Bears, picking up Kellen Mond at 20 and thinking they have their franchise quarterback. I don't know. So that's going to be my biggest surprise of the first round. Kellen Mond, 20 Chicago Bears. Taheem, do either of you got any surprise or something that you think out of the ordinary is going to happen?
I don't know if it's out of the ordinary. I think it's pretty much been predicted. If any one of these quarterbacks slide, then you're going to have teams trade up. Specifically, the Patriots. They were talking about the Panthers trading up too. I don't know why they would do that because they have a quarterback. But I'm just anxious to see the trade ups, teams moving up to see what they're going to get. And I want to I'm always interested to see the teams moving up and the teams moving back in the draft too.
Yeah. Hopefully Dallas moves back, not out of the first round, but maybe go from like 10 to 15 or 10 to 13, something like that. And still, because we could still be able to get a quarter. Now, I was watching Get Up earlier, or NFL Live earlier, and Jeff Saturday said something that would just make my evening. He said the Cowboys should make a trade with the Patriots for the 10th pick, move back, pick up, and involved in the trade instead of like a pick, maybe pick up Stephon Gilmore. And then we could get Gilmore and then another corner, and then our secondary is pretty much resolved that fast. But Gilmore is not cheap, so I don't know if Jerry's going to do that.
Yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be tough to get. Like, I feel like if they were going to move Gilmore, I felt like it would already happen. Like, it would have happened.
Yeah,
somewhat already. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but still, you got any surprises that you think might happen in this first round?
I don't really have any too many surprises. The only thing that I can kind of think of that may be a surprise is just with everything going on. I think this might be another year that we don't get a running back like in the first round, even though I think ETN and Najee Harris are phenomenal.
I think we get it. I think we get it back in the first round.
I think we should have two. Like they should both be first round.
Yeah.
But that just because of what people need, I could see them possibly not getting selected in the first round, which would be crazy.
I think those two should go, but I would be surprised if only one of them goes, and then the next one, high second round.
Yeah, they'll go definitely early. won't get past the second round. But to me, the only team, I mean,
It's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
They
yeah,
need a back.
Yeah, and I
you
think that's
gotta,
what it was. Yeah, Pittsburgh is taking it back.
yeah, you would think Pittsburgh is taking it back, and then you would think the Jets with that second first round pick are taking a running back. Like you would think, but it's the Jets. You just
They might
don't
resign. They
know.
might resign Frank Gore.
Yeah, like the Jets are in that position of we need everything, so they may trade that second pick and just get more picks in the second. So, like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if
So I'm looking
either
at Peter.
need a back.
I'm looking at Peter King's latest mock from uh Pro Football Talk, and he has Najee Harris going to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 24,
Yeah,
and he also has Travis Etienne going to the Buffalo Bills at 30 in his first round mock.
doesn't it seem like the Buffalo Bills take a running back first every year?
Yeah,
Because they took Singletary, they took Moss.
Yeah, but Singletary showed some ability late in the season.
Yeah.
Moss was he was just all right, but I don't know. The Bills don't really they don't really need anything. Maybe they could maybe a dynamic tight end, but
Yeah, I would say that they probably do need that.
their defense is legitimate like on all levels. They can use a playmaking tight end or a every down back that you can like really like trust. So that could be an option. Their receivers are fine. Offensive line seems fine. Yeah, their team is pretty much stacked on both sides. So maybe running back is a choice.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's it. That's the only thing that I can kind of see happening. Like I said, no running backs go in the first round. Just because of the nature of the league.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on from football, I'm looking at Peter King's mock. Just quick rundown on the local teams. So he has the Giants taking Micah Parsons at 11. He has the Eagles taking J.C. Horn at 12, and he also has the Washington football team taking Christian Darrisaw at 19.
Who the fuck is that? Christian Darrisaw.
I think it might be like an old lineman, probably a lineman or something. I'm not too sure.
I think he's he's an old lineman.
Yeah, old lineman. Hopefully, all three botched their picks and they have a poor season. All right. Anything else left in football? I'm very excited for the draft.
The numbers changed. The number rule changed.
The amount of games.
No, wearing the.
Oh yeah. My bad. Yeah. So you're going to see players wearing single digits as a middle linebacker, and that should be interesting.
You heard what Tom Brady said about it?
Yeah. I didn't talk about. Going to see a lot of bad football and missed assignments. Like, come on, man.
He's like an old man right now.
No, I don't even think can like any player wear any number. That's the rule.
They said it was wide receivers, running backs, defensive ends, linebackers, tight ends, and secondary. They can go to single digit numbers.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't know they could go single digit. I thought they expanded. Okay.
Yeah, they go to single digit numbers. So Tom Brady's like, so now I don't know who the mic is. Like, shut up. Yes, you do.
Like, yes, you do, man. Stop. Like, I didn't understand that. Like, you see that big dude over there? Block him. That's what you need to say. Like,
exactly. Like, you the best quarterback this game has ever seen. And you talk about a number is going to confuse you.
Yeah, nah, he'll be fine.
Get out of my face, man.
Yeah, he'll figure it out in week 1 of the preseason and be good to go.
Yeah.
All right. So nothing else in football. Round of applause. Moving on to the NBA, we are about 2 weeks out from the end of the regular season. Teams are starting to round into position. The Brooklyn Nets, they are currently in first place in the East. Then you also have the 76ers in second place, Bucks right behind them in third place. And my New York Knicks are in fourth place in the Eastern Conference. Round of applause for that. What are your thoughts on the Eastern Conference so far, fellas?
No, man, listen. I said so. If you go through the archives, I said the Knicks.
Not. I was talking to Coach about this over the weekend. I was like, the only person that believed in the Knicks was Snell, which is the most randomest thing because
Bro, I told you I was like, yeah, the Knicks aren't going. There aren't going to be that. Like they'll be in playoff contention. I didn't think they'd be the 4 seed, but I thought they would be at least in that extended playoff of So I thought they would be. I didn't think they would be god awful. I thought they would be competitive, but this Julius Randle, this is another. This is not something that we've seen from him before. So this is
Nah,
just like this
no,
is
I
this.
mean he's balling. I mean, you
Yeah,
gotta give credit where credit's due. He's balling.
yeah,
And then the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, that's the coach, right?
yeah,
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau. He's known for getting teams to the playoffs. Like the Bulls sucked, but he got them to the playoffs every year. They didn't do much in the playoffs, but he was good for that. So
So here's one thing that I'm wondering about Tibbs that I'm starting to notice, and I'm 100% glad that he is the coach, but I feel like he comes to a new team and he demands so much out of them that first year, grinds you down to a pulp, and
yeah.
you overachieve, and then the following years you like, man, I'm tired. Like I'm tired of this barking and practicing hard, and our bodies can't keep up with this, which is why Derrick Rose broke down, Joakim Noah broke down, even Luol Deng was breaking down. I wonder if that is going to be something that happens to the Knicks like in the following years because we're definitely overachieving in a major way this year, but I wonder if that same level of intensity can sustain in year 2, 3, 4 of his coaching tenure. Because if you look at the Timberwolves, like when he first got there, major dramatic change in their standings, and then over time, like um, Carl Anthony Towns was like, man, I'm tired of this dude, and then Jimmy Butler left, so they just fell apart. So I'm wondering about that with the Knicks going forward. But for now, I'm gonna enjoy what we're doing this year. We did just lose to the Suns. Chris Paul went crazy in the fourth, but yeah, man, this is the best I've seen the Knicks since like the early Carmelo days, and that was like 2013. So props
I
to
think
them.
I think with Tibbs, he's just an old school coach. Like he's gonna
Yeah.
demand the best out of you. He doesn't care how much money you make. Like that shit doesn't impress him. Like he's there to do his job. And if you pay attention and do what he says, he can get you to the promised land. I think that's his mentality.
Yeah, and I think that year off. I think being out of bath. I think having that year off. I think that kind of helps too. Because even like as a coach, he seems a little bit calmer than
He
he than he
does.
was than he was before. So I think having that year off, just adjusting and coming back, and I think now he knows what like kind of players not to draft. Like he knows not to draft not to have a Jimmy Butler and draft a Carl Anthony Towns. Like this is a
Yeah,
bad mix. This ain't gonna work. So I
yeah.
think he's learned a little bit also in putting the team together. So I think they'll be all right.
Yeah. All right. Now looking out west, the top 4 seeds is Utah. They've already actually clinched a playoff berth. Phoenix, surprise team of the year probably. Los Angeles Clippers at third, and fourth is Denver. They're kind of sliding a little bit since Jamal Murray got hurt. The Los Angeles Lakers are fifth. Anthony Davis has returned, hasn't really looked that great. Still got a lot of rust to work out. LeBron's been out for the
He's the reason
past.
why I'm not in the playoffs.
Yeah, LeBron's the reason I'm not in there. So LeBron's been out the past 4 or 5 weeks, and what's interesting is that um, the Lakers are only like a couple games out of that play-in tournament, which is problematic in a multitude of ways. So for those that don't know, the play-in for the playoffs this year, um, the top 6 seeds are in each conference, like no questions asked. But the 7 through 10 teams, 7 through 10 teams play some type of tournament, and how it works is the seventh seed plays the eighth seed. The winner of that game advances to the playoffs. The loser of the 7 and 8 game plays the winner of the 9-10 game, and the winner of the winner of that game then becomes the eighth seed. So it's a bit complicated. We'll send out a graphic for it as we get closer to that situation. But here's what could suck. So the Lakers could slip into the playing game or playing tournament, and they could just lose. Like one game situation in the NBA, anything's possible.
Yeah.
The other part that sucks is that let's say you are the Utah Jazz having a great year, and you have to play the Lakers in the first round. That can also be horrible too. So the Lakers are the most interesting team in my opinion when it comes to this situation. They're clearly a top team in the West, but since the injuries to Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they've been slipping in the standings. So it can be bad in both ways. Like it can be bad and the Lakers miss the playoffs, or it can be bad and the Utah Jazz can play them in the first round, or which probably is the most likely scenario, the Lakers just end up with a 5 or 6 seed and just move on. Any thoughts on the NBA? Current standings and what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm watching baseball.
So I guess the only thing I'll say is, again, we have the Phoenix Suns. Another selection of mine. When I said I thought Devin Booker might be in this MVP race because I think Chris Paul would change the team that much. But the Suns, man, the Suns are really good, but they're one of those teams that I do it now of they ain't getting out of the first round. Like they just ain't built to get out. They just like I don't need to know who they playing. I don't need to know where they playing at. I don't need to know who got home court. I don't need to know any of that. It's been a great year. You're not getting out of
the way it's set up now. I think them Lakers are just going to beat the shit out of everybody because you got LeBron. Yes, he's injured, but he has time off. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just going to rejuvenate. And the Lakers aren't playing good, but when you get LeBron on your team, it just kind of settles the whole team down. You know what I mean? And LeBron is just going to give you 100%. He's not going to lose. And he got Drummond now, and AD is coming back. He's going to work his way back. Come on, man. They're going to beat the shit out of people. And I think the reason why they can beat the Nets is the Nets don't play defense.
Yeah, one team I've got my eye on is definitely the Clippers. Ever since that Rondo trade, on the low, they've been playing really well. Like they've won 8 of their last 10 games. They're only 2 games out of having the best record in the NBA. So they're right there, but nobody's talking about them. They're currently in the 3 spot. If they played in the first round, if the playoffs started right now, they would be matched up against the Mavericks. That would be 4 or 5 game series at best. And Clippers are a dangerous, dangerous team. Like they can definitely make. They can. I would pick them versus Utah and Phoenix in a series. Really, the only team that would derail them, in my opinion, is a healthy Lakers team. But even that might be a stretch because like Rondo, like they got exactly what they needed with Rondo, just somebody that can run the offense. Like Patrick Beverly, is a good defender, but when it comes to running the offense, like he can't do that.
No.
So. I think the Clippers are a very, very dangerous team, and it's definitely a team to look out for. Anything else left in basketball?
No, man.
No? All right, round of applause. All right, moving on. We've had some some emerging black men in stepping into. Well, one has already been here for a while. Dr. Umar Johnson. He's just been talking crazy for years, and he recently had an interview with the Breakfast Club that we'll get into in just a moment. But big fan of his. Tahim, give us the Kevin Samuel breakdown. Why is he your role model?
Why is he my role model?
Oh goodness.
Oh man, thanks for throwing me under the bus. I mean, you got us all tickets to a show. So,
Kev is his delivery is just
it's just
crazy.
his delivery. It's just his delivery. But other than that, like he's literally telling you the truth, right? And it's the truth that people don't want to hear. It's just like how people say people never want to look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Like he's forcing you to look in the mirror. Like he's telling you the truth, but he's just giving it to you in a real wild way. But we're specifically talking about when he was on Joe Budden's podcast, which I think those two should never be in a room together because that's just madness.
That's bad.
Yeah, total madness. It was entertaining though. It was entertaining.
It was but we're talking about he was talking. So is her name Sweetie?
It's spelled in a wild way. I
Yeah,
guess
it's
it is
spelled
sweet.
it's spelled in a wild way, but I think it's Sweetie. So
I think she did. I think that's how she pronounces
this
it.
is it. Okay. Yeah.
It's not how it's written.
Yeah, it's not. It's like swole tie. Shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like some shit like that. But anyway, he was saying that she's an adjustable 6, right? And I said that is 100% correct. She is an adjustable 6 because if you take off the fake stuff, which is most of her body, she's a 6. But she's an adjustable 6 because if you put that stuff back on her, then to some people, she's a 10. He was just really referring to like she's not. He's saying he was saying she's an attractive woman, but when she presents herself in public, she's not natural. Like that's not. It's a bunch of makeup. It's a bunch of cosmetic things. You know what I mean? And when you get older, that shit's just gonna look like trash. So he was just saying, she's an adjustable 6, and I 100% agree with that. Like I don't even think she's a 6. Like she's just not my cup of tea. But
Yeah. Now you also said a little something extra when you said she was a 6. You also gave a grade out to somebody else.
Oh yeah, Beyonce.
You said Beyonce was a 7-8. Please
It's like a
explain to
7.
please explain that to the public.
To me, Beyonce is like a 7-8. She's nothing
You know
extravagant. She's nothing like, I'm not, if I'm in, I'm not even going to say Walmart because I think she's a Walmart type of person. If I'm in Target and she's in Target, like I'm not stopping to say anything to her.
Stop it.
I'm not.
America and the rest of the world. Just so we're clear, this is Taheem Green speaking on behalf of Beyonce being rated a 7 or 8.
Listen,
me
I'm not
and
scared.
Snell, me and Mo Snell are not. We do not support these comments.
I'm not scared of nobody, no fucking beehive. I'll support but any one of y'all.
If she's a 7 or 8, that means we're using either Richter scales or great tornadoes that like
tornadoes.
To
me, I mean, I'm just is she an attractive woman? Yes, but she is not a 10 on my scale.
No.
So who's a 10?
Stop. Hold on.
Me?
We're not gonna hold on. We're not just going to speed past. Is she an attractive woman? Is she the attractive? Like she is.
Is she the standard? No, she's not.
Stop it.
Get some help.
Stop it.
So give me a 9-10. I want to hear this.
He's one of the standard.
So me a 9-10 is like Eva Longoria.
Stop.
J-Lo.
Eva Longoria.
It's been a fun J-Lo. It's been a fun podcast. It's been fun doing this.
A J-Lo, like that's exotic to me. Like I'm not.
So that's what I'm saying.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do?
That's
I
what
don't get it.
So what I'll say is this: where me and Kev agree and disagree at. So first off, Kevin Samuel's funny because he also talks to dudes like that, but it's just not shown a lot. So
yeah, he does. He definitely does talk to dudes like that.
So I'll say that one, he's fair in the way that he talks to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like because he talks to men and women the same. The only thing that is a little bit messed up is that we live in a very emotionally fragile world, and you can break some people out here. So you just can't be like. Sometimes you got to put the kid gloves on with a couple of these people.
Yeah,
and he just doesn't.
Yeah, you can't call women Emmett Smith. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, he called the Emmett Smith, and then like on Joe Budden's podcast, he was like, "No, she's actually bigger than Emmett Smith."
Yeah, like that's excessive. Like no need to say that.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think he's coming from the avenue of where, like, why can't men say what they want to say, but women can say what they want to say? Like they call men deadbeats, broke. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's where he's coming from.
This is what
that's a good question. I mean,
that's where he's coming from. Because he's just saying the tables aren't even. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's like women can say whatever they want to men, and then men have to kind of just take it. So that's why I always say there's no safe space for men, because we just have to kind of shut up and color and just take it.
No, this is what, like I said, this is where Kev loses me. First off,
where he loses me.
because so one thing I'll say is he never states that what he's saying is like the absolute, like he doesn't present what he's saying like this is the holy grail, the Bible. You have to listen to what I'm saying. He's just giving you his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he does have some responsibility of like, yo, you can't just be talking to
everybody like that.
Yeah, because a lot of these people are coming to him for I would say like advice. So it would be like me, like, yo, Tahim, like, yo, I'm trying to get in shape, I'm trying to work out, and you're like, yo, all right, well, we about to start you out. You need to be mentioned 285 day one, like that. Like you're like, what? like you're not working out hard. Like he's not building them up to any way. He's just cutting straight to the chase. You know what I mean? He's not.
I don't think I'm a good example because I am kind of cutthroat when it comes to working out.
This is true. This I know. This is
yeah. So I'm not. I am Kevin Samuels in the gym. So
yeah, but at the same time, there is still a level of like, yo, all right, you can't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
you physically can't do that.
Yeah, like there's like you're cutthroat, but there's also like, let me tell you why you're not able to do it. Let me break it down. He's just giving it to him like, yo, thank you for calling. You look like Emmitt Smith. Goodbye. like, yo, you can't do that. So
thank you for calling. You look like Emmitt
Smith. Yeah. So that's my only thing. And then you got, like you said, you got chicks like Sweetie or however you pronounce the name. Like, I don't know. She may have some issues or something, and then this catches fire, and now you made her have doubts about herself. And
but so what happens when women say that in the public about men, and then it catches fire, and then the guy has to? I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, yeah. Listen, man.
Yeah, there's no. I wonder if there will be a female version of Kevin Samuel coming out soon, because like but not to this level. Not that's like, you know, mainstream like Kevin Samuel is. Like, you don't see like a woman just like, you know, giving constructive criticism to men like on air. Like, it's just like, unless you're like Iyama or something like that. But other than that, no.
I kind of think men have been getting constructive criticism for all our lives.
Yeah. I don't know,
because it's a standard that we kind of have to live up to. And that's presented by women. Like, women kind of dictate the market, I guess. And it's always, you know, you got to be able to do this. You got to be able to provide this. You know, that's the constructive criticism.
It is, to me, it's somewhat. I'll say this. It's also semi unfair. I'll say that it's semi unfair because you could say like Kevin Samuels is a real life consultant, like he's a real life.
That's what he's doing. Yeah.
So he's a real life image consultant, and then you're like, yo, let me just talk to regular people that don't know how to talk. It's gonna be, they're gonna get killed quickly because he'll say stuff like, yeah, rate yourself from 1 to 10 and don't use 7, and they'll be like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't even come up with an answer because they just don't know how to speak. So some of it, I get it. Some of it is he beats up on the easy targets, but he's fair. He's fair. He's fair. I won't say he's not fair. I won't say it's right, but he's not. He's definitely fair because he definitely talks to men and women who are in bad shape. The same.
Because I don't want to say what he says to the guys because it's like mad wild.
Yeah, it's definitely
mad wild.
Yeah, that's not
and I'm not repeating it.
No.
All right, moving on. We have another guy that's been in the media for years, but
this is his mentor.
Recently had an interview with the Breakfast Club. None other than Dr. Umar Johnson.
He's not a real doctor.
Yeah. First of all, he's not a real doctor. That is correct. He was just on there talking crazy, man. Like,
no, and the thing about it is, he always comes with the nappy hair and a dashiki, like he's like authentic African man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, chill. You from like Philly?
Yeah. He was talking, man. Whenever he's speaking, like, you just got to listen to it. Like,
listen to the comedy. You got to pull all of the comedy out of it.
You just got to wonder, like, yo, he really said that. Like, he really, like, he had crazy comments about like interracial dating. He was talking about
he said he does it. He said, so I'll put it in paraphrase, like I'll put it in context. He said he doesn't wish harm against anyone, like any race or anything like that. He just said he just would prefer to see like blacks with blacks, Asians with Asians, and stuff like that. Because he said um,
It was
when
so. It
black
was
men marry outside of the race, it leaves black women to continue to struggle.
yes, because for economic
Yeah,
reasons.
for
Yes.
good reasons. Yeah, which I mean, like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like what?
Yeah.
Like for one, it's like you marry the person you love, right?
There you
You're not worried about skin color. If you love this person, you marry them, right?
go.
Like I think Umar is really just trying to get married for a paycheck. So that's what he's in it for. So
This is my thing about with good old Doctor.
Umar Shiz the third
Yeah, he's as much as a doctor
is I am a scientist.
as Dr. J and Dr. Dre. Like he's as much as a doctor, right? So again, I get where Umar's going, but
Yeah.
then, like everything else, he goes too far, and it doesn't make. He goes too far, and then he gets himself into a place where he's talking with like no facts or no factual proof. He's just talking real fast about a bunch of things going on with no actual proof. So in the Breakfast Club interview, I believe he said his points. And listen, those are valid points. He has some valid points there. But then he'd go on to say like, about the black people that are the black caucus or the black people that do work in government. Like, what have they done in 30 years? Like, see, now we've took that step of going like too far where it's like, well, these people have done stuff. You just don't want to look at it. Like that's where you go too far.
Because he said
And I feel like he does that a lot. Like he has his points, and then he just starts talking so fast and talking so much. It's like, well, that doesn't.
he tries to outsmart you.
Yeah.
Like, cause he said some shit about he said Joe Biden has been president for how many days, but his first thing that he did was to sign the hate law.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything for black people, but he said if you don't vote for him, you're not black.
Yeah.
He brought that up, and it's just like, yo, Umar, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not it. And I believe it was a trans bill and the Asian bill.
Yeah,
I don't so I don't have to look, or I don't need to look it up. But I'm pretty confident that those aren't the first. They may have been a part of the first bills. Like they may have been, like there may have been the Asian one is fairly recent, but the trans one, maybe that was a part of like 4 or 5 bills that were first signed. So it's like, it was on the first day, but it wasn't the first one. But he's saying like, instead of saying like, hey, early in Joe Biden's campaign, he signed the trans bill. He's saying no, the first bill. Like, wait a second, I'm not sure if that was the first one.
And my thing is like, even if it's the first one, so what? Like, he gonna catch you on the back end. Like, calm down, bro.
Yeah. So that's my thing. Is just a lot of it is just talking and not being 100% accurate. But he's also lumping black people in there. So it's like, hold on, wait a second.
And he also wants your grits money.
And he wants your grits money. So so that's what I'm talking about. Is that and you got all these facts, but you wanted to start a school, but he started no school, not one.
He talked about that on the Breakfast Club too, and he put it on black people again. Like, we're failing. He was like, "Yo, I have all the materials, but if black plumbers, electricians, and somebody else would just offer their time, which would be 2 weeks, then we can get it all done." The holdup is they're not volunteering their time, so I have to continue to fundraise to get the money to pay the white man to come in and do it. And I'm like, yo, you got to be shitting me, bro.
Yo, for as long as he's been talking, right? As long as he's been out talking as a speaker, you ain't got enough to start a school or even to start. You ain't got enough to start a class. Like you ain't got an online like you should at least have a class going, a program going.
This is Umar, man.
So
he trying to drive a car with no tires.
Yeah, unless you building like Princeton, like I'm about to build it. I'm building like the full Ivy League campus. I don't understand where he's going.
Yeah. One thing that did catch my attention from Umar is when he was talking about as we transition into the Micaiah Bryant tragedy, pretty much, is that he was telling a story of how, which often happens, is how you know young kids get into a fight in the lunchroom. One of them might have a weapon on them, and how a lunch lady can probably break up that fight. That happens in real
Yeah.
life. So if a lunch lady can break that up, why can't a police officer do that? And as we transition into all these tragedies that have happened over the past couple of weeks, Micaiah Bryant, the story. Um, so what happened is a group of people that were older went to jump Micaiah Bryant. She came out to defend herself with a knife, and as she was getting ready to strike one of the people that came to jump her, a cop panicked pretty much and shot her. Now, in my opinion, all parties involved are just wrong. Like the cop should not have shot um, the woman that was getting ready to get stabbed. Like she shouldn't have been there to begin with. Like rumor has it, she was like in her late 20s. So that was just wrong because Micaiah Bryan was only 16 years old. Um, the father, I don't know if you guys watched the video, but the father was involved. He was kicking like women in the face. Um, so every
To protect, and he probably did that to protect his daughter. Like if I have a daughter, and I don't care who she's fighting, I'm beating the shit out of somebody.
no, I understand that, but you also should be, you know, powerful enough to diffuse the entire situation. Like
Yeah,
everything was just
it shouldn't have got to a fight. Yeah,
yeah.
like if he was out there beforehand, he could have stopped the fight. But if he comes out there and they're already tussling,
No, he appeared to already be out there.
okay.
Like everything was just like starting to formulate.
Mhm.
So he was in the wrong. The officer was in the wrong. Um, and this ends up with somebody just getting shot 4 times. It's just a real tragic situation. And where Umar was talking about, he's seen like lunch ladies break up a riot in a lunchroom. That's an actual fact. So for them to have the capability to do something like that and the cop not have that, it's just kind of like, where do we go? Um, so that was one, and then any comments on that before we move on?
See, and this is where he loses me at. This is where you. This is where you. I get where you. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, also, if there's a knife fight going on, I know a bunch of lunch ladies that's like, oh nah, it's above my pay grade. I'm gonna sit this one out. Let somebody else step in there. You know what I mean? Like
That's true.
that. You know what I mean? So
But
you-
you would expect a cop to know how to handle something like that, especially from a 16-year-old girl, in my opinion.
yeah, but so this is the thing, right? So you could the thing about this is that yeah, maybe the cop could have ran over there and tackled her and stopped it. But if she stabs that person one time,
Yeah,
you
she
can kill him.
probably yeah. That's where everybody's in the wrong, in my opinion. Like
Yeah. So I don't think you can. To me, in this situation with the cop, right? I understand you're saying, "Hey, you could have diffused this situation other ways besides shooting someone." But shiz, if you're 20 feet away, right, and you see somebody about to stab somebody,
yeah, you're going to shoot.
you're gonna shoot.
So
Like
yeah, I understand. Like when it comes to like these situations, like this one is a lot of gray, and I don't know. I don't even know what the punishment should be. Like this is just a horrible situation from top to bottom. Like top to bottom,
yeah,
horrible situation,
Right.
tragic loss. Like I don't even know. Like I don't know.
So
yeah,
so my thing, and I think a lot of people fail to realize is, so when you become a cop, you sign up for a really, really selfless job, right? And I think what happens is you get retards that can't get regular jobs, so they sign up to be cops, right? And they, people that have been bullied, people that aren't mentally there, people that just not should not be cops. Like, because when you sign up to do this job, every day you walk out of the house, you have to understand you signed up to potentially die. That's what you signed up for. Like the world is not some pretty snow globe that you might see in a trinket store, right? When I signed up for the military, I signed up and I didn't know what my job was going to be. My job could have been over in Russia looking for fucking IEDs and get blown up the next day. But I signed up and I understood that I could still die, and I understand that. So I'm not crying about, if I get shot or, if I die. Like, that's what I signed up to do. Is it likely? No, it's not likely that I'm going to fucking die. But if it happens, hey guys, I had fun while I was here, but this is what I signed up for. And cops, that's what you're signing up for. His job was to run down on that girl and take that knife from her. His job was not to shoot her. He was fucking scared out of his goddamn mind. And if you're a cop,
I
you
can agree with
can't
that.
be scared. Like, this is your job. This is what you're signing up for. And that's why I say I think a lot of these cops shouldn't be cops, because they just sign up because they can't find a job, right? And that's not why you should be a cop. You should be a cop because you're literally understanding this is a very selfless profession. This is not one that's going to get you a bunch of awards, accommodations, and a bunch of kudos, and you could possibly die from it. Like, that's what you're signing up to do. And people don't realize that. People are just, like I said, signing up to sign up because they want to be cops. Like, if she was 10 feet away like that or like that, you run down on her and you tackle her at the legs, or you tackle whoever she's going to try to stab.
But
And another thing, he has a taser as well, right? He didn't just have a gun. He could have tased her. And that's the
yeah,
thing.
that's
And
true
that's
too.
and that's the thing that people, and I'm telling you this, the world is on fire. Like, there are people out there who hate black people and are wanting cops to act like they're above the law and take black people's lives, and then just say, oh well, he had a knife, oh well, he was resisting arrest. But that the job of the cop is not to kill the assailant, it's to
Yeah.
apprehend the assailant, right? And
Very
that's
true.
and they don't want to do that. And then, when you talk about, well, all the black people being killed by cops, well, they say, oh well, white people get killed by cops too. When? I'm sure it happens, but we see videos of Caucasian people wilding the fuck out on cops, and
Yeah.
they don't shoot them. I saw a video of an old guy. I think they say he was like 50. He was in a big ass dually truck, and he literally ran over a cop, sped off down highway. They chased him, blew his tires out, pulled him out of the car, and arrested him. Right, and the whole thing was he didn't want to put a mask on in a store. Like, that's how the whole argument started, because he felt like he had the right to not wear this mask, and he ran over a fucking cop with a damn dually truck, and they didn't kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand that black people are getting treated totally different. And it's just a shame. And then people say, oh, I'm not racist, or like, I understand the problem, but then they support cops. Like, there needs to be police reform. Do we need to get rid of all cops? No, but there needs to be police reform. Like, they need to go into all of these precincts and really start looking into people and firing them, because not everybody needs to be a cop. Just because you played high school, you were a quarterback and everybody loved you, but then you went to college and started smoking dope, snorting crack, got kicked out of college. That doesn't mean you come back and be a cop. You got character flaws. You shouldn't be a cop. It's just a real bad, fucked up situation.
Yeah. That one, man, that one is tough. That's a tough one, because you're asking somebody, you're seeing a life or death situation, and you ask somebody to pull out a taser. You know what I mean? Like, I know everything that's going on, but everything's not binary. So I can't. If this could be the first situation that this cop's ever been involved in. So individually, he's doing what he thinks is right. He's not acting as like, yeah, I'm in the same department as what's his name, Daniel Chavain. Like, he's not with them. It's an individual. It's really an individual case. And if you see somebody about to get killed, I feel like, listen, if you feel like, hey, this person's about to stab somebody and kill him, I could run over there. Like, yeah, you could, and that person could still get killed.
Yeah.
Or it's like you said, it's a split decision thing. It's also is it a thing that if the police had better communications with the neighborhood where people are outside your house trying to jump you, just call the cops before it even escalates? Does that solve the problem? So there's a lot of like it's
Well,
not just
she did call the cops. She was the one that did call the cops.
yeah. So but if you have faith in the cops, you don't go outside. You just like I'm not going outside. I'm just waiting for the cops to come.
Yeah,
And
but at
yeah.
16, you're not thinking like that. You're not. You just
That's what
you just hyped and ready to
But
fight
I'm
and
s-
whatever.
yeah, it's a like I said, it's just a weird.
Yeah,
That's a tough one. That's a
yeah.
tough situation.
This one is really tough top to bottom. But
Man, that shit ain't tough. You gotta stop fucking killing black people like it's all fucking willy nilly. Because if we ran around doing the same shit, because say if that was a black cop and that was a white girl in the same situation, they'd fucking hang that cop.
yeah,
Hands down, they would fucking hang that cop.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. But the next one that ain't tough is the killing of Dante. Right. This lady was a 26-year veteran in the police force, and she mistook a taser for a gun, shot the man. The man passed away. His funeral was just this past weekend. I mean, there's really no excuse for this, in my
No.
opinion. Like, there's none at all. And I don't think you can get her on murder charges. Probably like a high level manslaughter charge, but she needs to do like 20 years for this because like there is just really no excuse to mistake. Like, the man was unarmed. That's number one. You are yelling, "I'll tase you, I'll tase you, I'll tase you" for another like 5 to 7 seconds. And while you're doing that, you don't understand that you have a gun in your hand as opposed to a taser. There's no excuse for that, especially for a 26-year veteran. So, in my opinion, she's being held. She's in jail, and she should never come out. Like, I don't. There's really no excuse for this.
There's a lot of officers that do not value the life of black people, so it's really really easy for them to make these mistakes. You can't. So they're saying she's a 26-year veteran of the force, right? And so after she did it and said, "Oh, I thought I had my taser in her hand," there were so many videos that came out from other cops showing you how that's impossible.
Yes.
Right? Like how the taser and the gun are positioned on two different sides. Your strong arm and your weak arm, weak hand. The physical difference of holding one in your hand, the weight difference of holding one, that wasn't a mistake. I mean, there's a part of me that wishes it was a mistake, but that's not a mistake.
No.
And here's the thing, like, if a regular civilian makes that quote unquote mistake, they're still going to
They're
jail.
going to jail forever.
Period.
Yeah.
Forever.
So just because she's a police officer, she should get a pass? Hell no. If
No.
anything, you should be charged more because you are experienced with both a gun and a taser and should know the difference, like, without a question. So I don't really want to hear anything about, oh, it was a mistake, blah blah blah. Nah, this person needs to go to jail for a long, long time, and rest in peace to
And my thing is,
Dante Wright.
yeah, recipes to him too. But my thing is, why the fuck were you even trying to tase him anyway?
Well, he was trying to escape. So they had him in handcuffs, or they was about to cuff him, and she says he has a warrant. He tries to flee, and as they're holding him back, she comes in, says, I'll tase you," and then she shot him.
So my thing is, because in like motorcyclists, I think cops can't chase them, right? Because if they chase them, they're going to cause more accidents.
Yeah, you can start.
Exactly.
You don't want to certain situations because you don't want to like speeding through like residential neighborhoods.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think you got to look at that the same way. Like, all right, cool, let him go and just follow him. He's going to stop at some point. He's going to stop.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think
and then
about like
when he stops, you have backup, and you guys all converge on him, not with your guns, because it's 15 of y'all. Y'all can just, throw him on the ground and arrest him at that point.
It was already more y'all than of him.
Exactly.
It was three officers.
Like,
it might have been 4 actually.
So unless he's unless it's like, yeah, I don't whoever like he's like a professional
If he's a
lethal.
hitman, you
Yeah,
know what
like
I'm saying? Like,
he's just lethal with his hands, and he's about to
yeah.
beat all four of us up in a matter of seconds.
And
Then that,
this is a 20-year-old kid
yeah,
from the pictures that looked like he was like maybe weighed 120 pounds.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this guy scared this lady enough for her to pull out her gun and shoot him.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
and that's what I'm saying. Like people that don't like black people are looking at this in such a crazy objective way, right? They're just trying to give this lady all the credit, or give all these officers in the past like all the credit. Well, the guy had this, or the guy tried to run, or all the stupid shit. And it's just like, are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah, what was crazy? I saw people comparing this to when that lady at the Capitol tried to break in and the security guard shot her. They compared the same situation. They compared this situation to that. Like a person is trying to escape, or but she was trying to intrude, and that's like sacred ground. Like we have like the vice president and all these high ranking officials in
And the
here.
thing about it is, like, they breaking it. There was a mob outside breaking in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
It wasn't one person. It was a mob.
yeah, so that comparison was just dumbfounding to me.
yeah.
But yeah, man, rest in peace to Dante Wright, man. Another just tragic situation. And going to back to George Floyd, the killer, Derek Chauvin, he was sentenced. Well, he hasn't been sentenced yet, but he was convicted of murder. I think it was murder 2, murder 3, and manslaughter. So he's going to go to jail for a long
Hold on.
time.
Yeah, you guys keep talking. I gotta take
Yeah,
a phone call.
yeah, he was going to jail. So he's going to jail for a very long time. Um, it's good that
Hello?
justice was finally served. But
Yeah. Yeah.
he got the feds calling him. But now it was good to see that he was convicted, and hopefully the sentencing is long. I think he faces anywhere from like 60, 70, 80 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets that. But
Yeah. I just hope, because I think the minimum is 10 to whatever. I just hope he doesn't get the minimum. Like
Yeah.
that's what I don't, because to me this is the extreme worst case scenario. So if you give him the minimum, that sets it up to give everybody else the minimum. You know what I mean? Like, because it's
Yeah.
like,
And
oh, if he only got 10, I should only get, I'm max getting 10. Like, you start getting that where this is the floor. Like, this is the ceiling, not the floor. I'm sorry.
yeah,
So
and his was the most egregious of all. Like,
exactly. So that's really what what I hope for. So I don't, as good as it was that he's found guilty. I just was just like, man, give me to the sentencing portion of this what's going on, because that's when we'll find out what's really happening.
yeah. So Tahim, what's going on? They coming to pick you up?
Nah, man, my phone rung from a number that I don't recognize, but it's super late at night. So I'm thinking it's somebody that works for me. If they're in
Yeah.
trouble or need, I have to answer the phone and come get them. But this motherfucker, I don't know who the fuck this was.
It was extend your car battery warranty.
Yeah, man. They're like, yo, we know you have a car. We need to extend your
Yo,
warranty.
them people are very intrusive, man. They send mail all the time. They call.
And they
I'm
call
like,
it the weirdest times, and it throws you off.
Yeah, from random numbers. And
Yeah.
I'm in real estate, so I gotta
So you gotta answer all of them.
I gotta answer every call. I'm just like, listen.
like, man,
That-
wait, you still get warranty call? Your car's like a 05. Like,
Bro, I'm like, yo, I do not fit this. I
don't fit your criteria.
Yeah, I know I don't fit your criteria. And then they'll be calling and be like, the conversation got like, don't hang up. Like, click.
What?
like,
Don't hang up?
yeah, like don't hang up. This is a click. So yeah.
wow, that's crazy. Yeah, my car definitely beyond the limit for extended warranty, but they call like 3 times a week, or like leaving
It should be a law against that shit.
yeah,
Like
leaving
they should
leaving
not be able
leaving
to fucking just,
voicemails, knowing my
Yeah.
first name. Like, yo, chill. Like,
hello, Benjamin. We have your warranty.
it has come to my attention that you qualify for this very exclusive warranty. Shut up.
Yeah, they say it like they were just like reading your stats and like, oh, he fits the bill. Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah. Like, yeah, he has a license, and that's it.
Has a license and a car.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like, yo,
but
y'all gotta chill.
yeah, but back to these polices. This one was really egregious to me. So, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Jonathan Pentland was pulled over. I believe this is in Virginia.
Nah, you're saying it wrong. So it was the first lieutenant from the army who was pulled over in Virginia by the cops.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm reading the second one. Yeah,
Nah,
first
you good.
lieutenant. This is in West Virginia, harassed by the cops. They apparently did not see.
They didn't see his tags.
They didn't see his tag. It was like a temporary one,
Yeah, it was on the window.
and they pulled him over. They drew their guns at him. They tried to insult him by calling him like a low ranking military personnel. Like, yo, just total lack of respect for a military sergeant that or lieutenant. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that is just crazy. Like I was really, really stunned at that video. Like I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like that fact that they was talking to a lieutenant like that. Tahim, you're a military guy, so like give us your thoughts on that.
It just goes to show you, like, racist people don't give a fuck. It really just goes to show you, like I am 75% sure that I'm going to get killed by a cop, and it's just going to be like, oh well. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that can save you from it. Like, they don't care. They don't care if you're a black senator. They don't care if you're another black police officer. They don't care if you're black and you're out serving the country. They don't care. Like, they will fucking kill you and then blame it on you. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that actually happened in December. And when it happened, the first lieutenant, he went through the legal procedures, him and his lawyer, to get that footage, right? And then when they went to court, won that battle, got the footage, they released it so the world could see, exactly what happened. So it wasn't like, and then they just fired that cop for that. It wasn't like they did this egregious thing. That cop, the first lieutenant went and told the police department, and then the police department handled it. No, the police department was going to hide it. They weren't going to turn their brother behind the blue line in. They weren't going to do that. Only until it got out into the media. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I'm telling you, man, because I have Caucasian friends that support cops. Like, I support cops too, the good ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, like, I'm 75% sure I'm going to get killed by a cop, and they're just going to sweep that shit under the rug. Because I've told a story about how I was driving home to my mom's house, and I just came from the gym, so I had like my cut off t-shirt on, and cop pulled me over. I think I was going like 5 miles over the speed limit. He pulled me over, and he approached the car from the passenger side, and he approached it from the driver's. No, he first came around to the driver's side window, got all of my information and all that stuff like that. Then when he came back to the back passenger window, and he was like, "All right, man, I'm gonna let you go. You don't have any more priors and stuff like that." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm glad when I pulled you up, nothing came up on your record because I didn't want you're a big guy. I didn't want to have to pull you out." And I was just thinking to myself,
What?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what?
Don't even joke about that. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And like that, that'd have been the day I'd have died, because I'm not letting you pull me out of shit, especially if I didn't do anything.
yeah,
I have no issue being a martyr and dying on the side of the highway. I have no issue with that. I'm in the military. I can die at any second anyway. I don't give a shit. Especially to be a martyr, to bring more light onto the fact that, like, there are racist cops out there and nobody wants to do anything about it.
yeah,
Like,
man.
I'm about that action. Like,
Yeah,
you'd had to you had to kill me on the fucking highway.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
So this next one, I'm not too sure about this one. What's the story with this one?
Oh, so the other one, the Army Staff Sergeant you talking about?
Yeah,
Oh, that's the guy that pushed the guy walking past. Right?
Yeah. So there was a kid, and the kid was he is mentally disabled. He has some type of mental issue. He was walking down the street minding his business, right? Mine is business. Is some Army staff sergeant. What's his name?
Oh, the in okay, and
Yeah.
was it South
North
Carolina or something
Carolina,
like that?
yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, Jonathan
That's what had
Penelon.
the band on the street.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was that. Yeah. So the kid was walking down the street, and the dude was just harassing him, like asking him where he's from, telling him he doesn't need to be here. Um, all kinds of stuff. And it's just like, for one, he was messing with that kid because that kid was smaller than him.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um, and because of the kid's mental disability, the kid didn't back down. Like he didn't have enough wherewithal to be frightened of the situation. So he was just like standing there, like, what's going on? What's wrong? Like, what did I do? And I think that agitated that dude even more. So he just kept, pursuing him, pursuing him, pursuing him. So then, it got all out because I don't know if it was his wife that was doing the video or something like that, but somehow it got out. The army took swift action, which I'm proud of them that they did that. And then some community members took it upon themselves
Yeah.
to have a marching band outside of his house.
That's a little that could start a riot because I'm not gonna hold you if I had work like you somebody that work a night shift and a whole marching band on
He
your
is
block.
outside. Yeah, I mean the only bad thing about that is his neighbors has to deal with it too,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they didn't do anything. But I mean,
Yeah.
for him, like if he just lived in like a dirt road by himself, hell yeah, like that
Oh,
shit
yeah.
up, like that shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when South Carolina State came out there with that band, that was that that was hilarious.
That
I
was
mean,
bad.
the neighbors, I'm pretty sure was like, man, we got to get this dude up out of here. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, you got to
You
sell
got to
that.
sell that house.
Yeah, you got to sell that. Or either that, or you need to leave so I can just come outside. And be like, yo, this dude's not here.
Yeah,
Like,
he don't live here no more.
yeah, like yo, he's
Yeah.
left. Like you
Yeah,
see all the lights off. You see
but
the,
that just goes to show you, like, there's racism in the military too. Like I have to deal with racism too. And you
oh,
would
yeah.
think nowadays, with people, I don't know what you would think, but yeah, you got to deal with racism. They actually did a survey or a kind of like a research thing in the Air Force, and it showed that they penalize African Americans some percentage more than they do their white counterparts, and then just the disparity in the rank structure. The opportunities aren't given to black individuals. You know what I mean? So it's like I have to fight every day against crooked cops, and then I have to go to work and fight every day, and then I got to fight terrorists too. So I'm fighting 3 motherfuckers at one time.
Mhm.
I live a stressful life.
and you fighting the 49ers too.
I'm a fucking fight Kyle Shanahan if he gets Mac Jones. I'll tell you that.
But yeah, moving on to some sad news, man. We're losing too many musical legends. You know, DMX passing, and right after that, Black Rob passing. Um, DMX, man, is huge member of the hip hop community. You know, he really, you know, he was really like gaining traction in his career as we were growing up, like middle school, high school, and all of his songs, like he had a lot of hits, songs that you recognize from the first note, and a lot of energy, legendary. He was a very unique rapper, had his own style, and to pass at such a age, he was only 50 years old. Addiction got the best of him, and it's just really like sad to see that addiction in the music industry and in real life, like regular life, like it just it doesn't have any like it could just take you up out of here. And DMX has struggled with addiction pretty much his whole career, from what we can tell. And you know they it, he just they said he overdid it this time, and he had a heart attack. He was on life support for like a week, and then they decided to take him off, and he passed. And it's real sad. um any thoughts on that? I mean, like, I wasn't like, of course, I respected his music, respected his career. Wasn't the biggest DMX fan, but Tahim, I think you said that you like listened to a lot of his albums and stuff like that. So, your
Yeah, I
thoughts, sir?
mean, DMX was like one of the 100%, like one of the best that ever did it. You know what I mean? Especially in his early days, like he just like he could hold his own with like the best of them, like, and best the best of them. Like he was just a real good rapper in the essence of being a rapper. Like for him, it wasn't about the fame or the fortune or anything like that. It was really about the crafts of telling a story or being the best competitor that there was out there. Like that's what drove DMX and guys like DMX. He made rap. He helped create rap and make it what it is today. Like his earlier albums. Without DMX, like you really don't have a significant portion of rap. Um, his flows, his just the way he approached it. I think he influenced a lot of people that maybe don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying? Because he influenced people, and then those people influence some of the rappers that we have now. Um, it's like if you talk about like the Hall of Fame and NFL Hall of Fame, he's definitely a Hall of Fame rapper. Like he needs to
Yeah,
be
for
in the
sure.
Hall of
Yeah.
Fame of rapping. And the addiction part of it, it's sad. Um, but for musicians, I think a lot of times, which is crazy to think about, the better musicians are the ones that have the issues, right? Because they just have all these bottled up emotions and they just find a way to get it out, right? So they produce the best music in a lot of circumstances and instances. So I think if DMX didn't have such a rough upbringing, he wouldn't have such content or such substance, So because you got rappers now that mumble rap, don't be talking about shit that ain't been through nothing. You know what I mean? They're not saying anything, they're not telling me nothing. But it's just sad that you got to go through so much to be able to give the world such a great gift because he 100% had a gift.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like you said, like if you say DMX, he's definitely one of the greatest rappers ever, especially just off of he definitely had his own unique style. And DMX is kind of like, for me, he's kind of one of like the first, when I think about like rap, like superstars,
Mhm.
like he's doing music, doing movies, like
Yeah.
video, like he was like the first one to really do it. Like Master P was doing it like independently, but he was like, nah, this is like in a movie theater. Like kind of like him and Aaliyah. Like they were the first ones that were like, oh no, I'm doing music, movies, I'm doing everything. Kind of like that superstar status. They were kind of the first ones that I really remember that from. And then, like you said, just his style was his own. It wasn't, it made sense. It wasn't like you said, it wasn't mumble rapping.
Yeah.
It's just
Hardcore bars.
yeah,
Like
yeah. But at that time, like he, there is a time. It's almost like if you can compare it to sports, it's almost like those bad boy Pistons, where it's like there's a small gap in time where, yeah, it wasn't Biggie, it wasn't Tupac, it wasn't Jay Z. Like DMX was the guy. Like he was the top guy. Like there is that time in history, and that's how I compare it to, like, you know you go big, like you said, you go to Biggie, Tupac, Jay Z. Not like you say the big names, but then you're like, but there was like a short run
of
in them
DMX.
2000s where where DMX got it. Like he had a hold of it. The same way I think down the road, you say like the same thing about 50. Like there is that gap in time where, like, 50 was really the guy. Like he was the number one guy. Like, and that's how I feel about DMX. Like you can't, like you said, you can't have a hip hop Hall of Fame and say like DMX isn't in it for sure.
Yeah. Round of applause to DMX's career, man. Yeah. We also had another just horrible loss. We lost rapper Black Rob. Um, a week or two before he passed, he posted up a video of him in the hospital, just looking, not looking well at all. And then, a couple of days later, we saw that he was released, so we thought he was getting better. And then on like a week or two later, we get the news that he passed, and just another like rapper that had had the huge song like "Whoa." Um, and he had some other records that were pretty big too. And I think he was only like 52 years old, man. So like DMX was 50, Black Rob 52. Like, man, it just makes you wonder, like, the lifestyle that you're living when you're younger and you're a star, it just burns you out fast. And
Yeah.
like you see some of these musicians that that are living that party life and just doing a whole lot of stuff. They kind of run out of gas early in life, and it's just like wow, it's crazy. But yeah, man, rest in peace to Black Rob. Condolences to his family, and definitely play his music. Like I remember just being in middle school, high school. When that like woe comes on, everybody just spit a bar, even if you've never spit a bar in your life. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. So yeah, rest in peace to Black Rob as well. All right, is there anything else left to discuss? NFL draft is here. This is pretty much like the Super Bowl of the off season. Um,
Oh yeah.
anything
Well,
else?
I guess we can't skip him either. Shock G. I forgot.
Oh
I
yeah,
Yeah,
forgot.
I'm
Shock,
about to say Shock G. Yeah,
Shock
Yeah,
G.
that's not. But the same thing, like you said. I think he was 50.
Yeah, young. Yeah, I think it was 57.
50. Yeah, 57. Yeah. So just another one. Just like.
Yeah, round of applause to his career. But yeah, man, it's just it's crazy. It's real crazy. But all right. That was episode 123 in the books. You can find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Search Second and One Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. Search Second and One Podcast. If you have any inquiries or you want to be on the show, you want to send us some merchandise, send that over to info@secondandone.com. Um, and yeah, any closing remarks or comments, fellas?
go get your vaccine.
Listen,
Oh yeah,
man.
yeah. It's Mr. Johnson and Johnson. Have you gotten your vaccine yet?
Man, once Johnson and Johnson get back rocking, I was waiting on a new batch of that Johnson and Johnson. I got it.
Don't take that shit. They gonna kill you.
Listen,
Yo,
man.
don't.
What's it give people blood clots?
Listen, man.
Yeah.
Six out of 7 million, man. Come on.
I don't give a shit.
Do the math.
That's
man.
6 too many.
6 out of
Yeah.
7 million, man.
Yeah, so now I got my second shot of that Pfizer last week, and I ain't gonna lie, like I was feeling a little crazy for like a day and a half. Like I had the chills, had a headache, feeling tired. But after those 36 hours, I woke up like, you know what? I'm taking my mask off. I'm good to go now. But nah, definitely, no pressure on you. Get your vaccine if you want to. If not, I'm still wear my mask anyway because like
I still wear my mask. I mean, I got vaccinated. I can still wear my mask.
yeah, people you seeing people on Facebook talking about, well, if you got the vaccine, why are you still wearing your mask? Or you don't need the vaccine if you wear your mask. Like people just people just don't understand. Like I don't understand it, man. People just always want to complain about everything. Like people just wake up, start complaining. But whatever. But all right, if there's nothing else, this is the Second One Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. We'll get with you guys next time.